OH! OH! Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the 2015 Farm Science Review and today's celebration of the College of Food, Agricultural, and Environmental Sciences. I am Devin Alexander, a fourth-year student studying agricultural communication from Anna, Ohio. On behalf of Dean Bruce McFerrin, I would like to thank you all for joining us today. Would everyone please now rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. We are so honored that many of you found time in your schedules today to join us, and I'd like to take this time to introduce some of those guests who are in attendance. When your name is called, please stand, and if we could hold our applause until all group members have been recognized. Philanthropic support is critical to the success of our college. We would like to recognize our Farm Science Review presenting sponsors and partners: Beck's, JD Equipment, John Deere, and Trimble Navigation. Please stand so we may thank you for your commitment to the Farm Science Review. It takes hundreds of people to have a successful Farm Science Review, many of whom are at the grounds right now interacting with our visitors. Would Chuck Gamble, Steve Slack, Greg Davis, and Linda Martin please stand and accept our thanks for all the work of our faculty, staff, and volunteer at this year's Farm Science Review. You will hear from Dean Bruce McFerrin following lunch, but I would like to ask Dean McFerrin and our university and college leadership to please stand and be recognized. Several student groups have representatives on hand today to assist with the luncheon. We would like to thank the Agricultural Communicators of Tomorrow, Alpha Gamma Rho Fraternity, Farmhouse Fraternity, Saddle and Sirloin Club, and Sigma Alpha Professional Sorority. Can we please give these individuals a round of applause? We are pleased to have Senator Chris Widener and Representative Bob Hackett with us this afternoon. Please welcome both of these individuals who are tremendous supporters of our college. Thank you. Would everyone now please join me in a moment of silent reflection as we each individually show appreciation for the meal which we are about to enjoy. Thank you. Lunch today will be served buffet style, and one of our event captains will be at your table to release you to the buffet. While you're enjoying lunch, please take a moment to look at our two screens next to the stage, which will highlight the many accomplishments of our students, faculty, and staff throughout the past year. We would also like to give a special thank you to Beck's for underwriting today's luncheon. At the conclusion of lunch, we will continue with today's program, but in the meantime, please enjoy. Dr. McFerrin got his start as a Buckeye from Hardin County, Ohio, but he relocated for a number of years to finish graduate degrees, teach, and most recently serve as the dean at Penn State. But fortunately, this Buckeye and Bug Guy found his way home. He's now completing his third year as the dean of our college. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage your host for today's luncheon, Dean Bruce McFerrin.
Well, good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for joining us. This is our first version of a celebration of the College of Food, Agricultural, and Environmental Sciences luncheon. We're glad to host you here. How about city barbecue? You can't go wrong, right? This lunch is all about you in the audience, our faculty, our staff, Our students, volunteers, donors, and alumni, you're the reason for any success we have. It is all about you. This is your day for you to reflect on the fact that we're here together because of the contributions you all make. It's not just events like the Farm Science Review and the incredible educational opportunities we have here, but it's day in, day out as we have an impact on the future. That comes from the piece that each of you brings to the table in support of our college. You had introductions by Devin a little earlier. We've had a couple other folks sneak in that I wanted to make sure we recognized. You had our local state legislators recognized. Senator Widener stood up, but there was no one who stood up when they said Representative Hackett. So he's come in. Bob Hackett is here in the front. Bob, we're glad to have you here. We get terrific support from our legislative partners at all levels, from the local levels all the way up to the federal level. Also, a very, very special guest here is Mr. Fred Fisher. Fred is the husband of the late Molly Karen Fisher. For those of you who don't know the Fred Fisher component, you will recognize, if you paid any attention to the signs, Molly Karen as the namesake of this particular property. Fred, we're grateful for your and Molly's support. We would not be gathered here if it were not for the generosity of you and Molly in the gift of land that established this facility. So Fred, stand up and take a bow. Thank you so much. Well, golly, here we are, another year later. It's actually 4 years since Bobby Moser sprung me on you at this event in 2012. That was a special year for me, not just because that was the year that I actually got to return to The Ohio State University in this college. It also was the 30th anniversary at that point of being on this site, which meant it had been exactly 30 years since I had last been at the Farm Science Review, because I was a county extension educator down in Claremont County in the early 80s. And as my extension colleagues know, we show up at these events to do a lot of staffing. I think they entrusted me with parking instructions, which I'm sure that was no commentary on my technical expertise, but that's what my job was. So as I count these times go by, it really is a great marker on the calendar for me. It's the exceptional event that we have sharing the educational output of our college across the state, but it also is a reminder that we've ticked another year on our academic calendar. We've got an awful lot of people here in the crowd today who retain a very healthy interest in how we're doing academically. We are delighted to have our crop of students back on campus in Columbus and at Worcester right now. And we're doing very well. This is the start of the fall semester. We wait 15 days into the semester to sort of see how the dust settles with these students, and then we do a head count. On the Columbus campus, we've held steady with our undergraduate population from a year ago. That's very good news. I know you'd like to hear me say we've grown that population, but let me let you in on a secret. Since none of my other dean colleagues are here, I will share with you that we will spend the rest of the year stealing students from them. They will engage in our classes. They will work in our student organizations, because a lot of people share interests in the things that our student organizations are all about. And they will hear from their peers in dorms and other venues that our graduates get jobs. In fact, if you were paying close attention to the slides during your lunch, and you may not have had an opportunity to look up from great table conversation and terrific barbecue, but you would have noticed that in our most recent survey of graduates, 92% of our undergraduates report a career or continuing education within 6 months of graduation, which is a pretty remarkable level of placement for students. I think the other way of saying that is a student graduating from our college almost has to make a decision to not get a job in order to fail to be on that list. And something that the state legislators are particularly happy to hear about. Some of my colleagues representing multinational companies are a little less thrilled with this, but over 70% of our first jobs are in Ohio. So when students graduate, that brain power is coming back into Ohio communities and refreshing the entrepreneurship and innovation that exists across the state. Well, in Columbus, we're holding steady. We have great hopes that we will increase, as we do every year as the academic year goes on. Up at our ATI program in Worcester, which, for those of you who don't know this, is the nation's leading producer of two-year degrees in food and agriculture, we've actually seen another 7% growth over last year. So in the last 3 years, we've seen an increase of 25% in student enrollment. For the first time in a long time, we had to worry about where we were going to put students in housing on the Worcester campus. That group continues to just go gangbusters, and they're very, very successful. You've heard me say this, and this audience doesn't need reminding, but our educational programs do not stop at the classroom door. OSU Extension is nationally and internationally renowned for the work that we do in taking the scholarship of the university out into every community in Ohio. I used to say we were in every county in Ohio, but I finally decided that simply didn't reflect the power of Extension sufficiently. We are in every county, but we are in every community in Ohio. And we take not only the scholarship of what we do in the College of Food, Agriculture, and Environmental Sciences, we take the scholarship of the entire university. We connect our citizens with what's happening in other states and other countries to bring answers to problems that they have in real time back into those communities, to energize new businesses, to help existing businesses adopt new approaches to what they're doing, to attack issues of hunger in those communities, to interact with tomorrow's leaders through our 4-H program. And so that presence is really extraordinary. We had extraordinary leadership for a very long period of time here. We experienced a unity of leadership that is unparalleled in the nation, and rascally Keith Smith decided that he would retire. And so June 30th, he stepped down as Extension Director after 23 years in that role. 35 years at OSU Extension, 23 years leading that. 4 years ago, people were saying, you got big shoes to fill with that Bobby Moser going before you. And the only answer I could think of is we wear different size shoes. What Bobby needs to worry about is I'm standing on his shoulders all the time, working on what the accomplishments that he put in place, and that will be the same as we see new leadership and Extension. I'm pleased to report, and those in the college have certainly heard this, but we've announced just this week that Dr. Roger Rennekamp will join us as the director of OSU Extension starting in January of 2016. Roger is a nationally recognized authority on program development and evaluation. He has long experience in 4-H. He's worked most recently in areas of health issues, which is one of the emerging problems that our extension educators are asked to deal with on a daily basis. And not just through family and consumer sciences, but throughout all of our mission areas. Now, Roger works for OSU. That would be Oregon State University, one of the lesser OSUs. And so in January, we're happy to welcome him to the OSU. And so we're looking forward to that. Roger does have a PhD from our college, and so he's no stranger to here. He had long experience in the University of Kentucky's extension system before going to Oregon State. So we're delighted to welcome him back. Now, I made another announcement earlier this week, and I want to make sure that you're all aware of this as well. 2 weeks ago, my time is just ripping past here, but 2 weeks ago we had a nice little party over in the Ohio Union, and we celebrated with our very generous donors $2.1 million in scholarship awards to our students in the college just this academic year. Those students also garner scholarship support from across the university and from hometown programs, but $2.1 million for our students from the college and our departments is nothing to sneeze at. That's great, but it's not enough. When we look at our students' attainment, they get through their degrees in excellent shape, and a student in our college graduating in 4 years with a bachelor's degree has on average a $28,000 debt load. That would be loans that they've taken out and unmet need that the financial aid system simply can't accommodate. Our students at ATI graduate with their 2-year degree with about $17,000 in debt. Now, if we send a student out the door with a degree, with the accomplishment that we've helped instill in them, and a promissory note, that delays the time when they can put that learning and accomplishment to work. Because instead of looking forward to their career and family, they're looking over their shoulder at settling debts for gaining that education. So it's on us, really, to do everything we can to help offset that debt as they're getting a degree with us. This is one of President Drake's top priorities that he's articulated in his 2020 vision. I have to pause and say it's a little amusing that an ophthalmologist president would define a 2020 vision here, but 2020, if you haven't done the math, will be the 150th anniversary of the establishment of The Ohio State University. And by definition, the 150th anniversary of our college, because we were the founding college of The Ohio State University. So it's a momentous time, and he has used 2020 as a benchmark to try to accomplish a number of things. And one of the key legs of the stool that he's created is increasing the affordability of an Ohio State education. So earlier this week, I announced that our college is right beside him in this initiative. And for next year, for the 2016 academic year, we will build on that $2.1 million base. We're going to commit an additional $1 million next year to student scholarships. Now, there's a little work to do, because we can do that for 1 year. And so we're going to talk to you. You're our friends and supporters. How do we make this sustainable to the future? We owe that not just to the students that follow behind, we owe that to society, because our mission is to prepare young people. And I tell this to employers, and we've got a few employers in the room. I'm glad you're sitting down when I tell you this. I am not here to train your employees. My job is to train the people that are going to take your jobs. We're creating innovators. We're creating entrepreneurs. We're creating the people that will create society for the future. If that's not something worth paying for and helping them out, I don't know what is. Got great partnership, Representative Hackett, got great partnership with the legislature in helping us make this possible. But we're going to put our money where our mouth is, and we're doubling down next year and adding another $1 million to our scholarship portfolio. A lot of other things that we've got on tap, and I could go on all day, and some of you have heard me speak and know that that's exactly true. I could go on all day. But let me just highlight a couple of things. A year ago at Farm Science Review, I said we're going to attack issues in Ohio's water quality. We were just 1 month out from Toledo having turned off the taps for a couple of days because of harmful algal blooms in Lake Erie. We have huge expertise in the college in water, and we've been working with water issues for a long, long time. And I coined what we called the Field to Faucet Initiative and said we're putting $1 million of college funding on the table to do 3 things. 1, we're going to mobilize all of that faculty capacity. 2, we're going to have them focus on near-term problems to which we think we can provide solutions. And 3, we're going to do this in a very interdisciplinary way. Well, my $1 million got matched from the state of Ohio with an additional $2 million. The Board of Regents, now the Department of Higher Education, put $2 million on the table and said, we like that approach. Can you help us allocate money? We partnered with the University of Toledo in that process. And then folks in this audience put an additional $2.5 million into this. Agribusiness, our commodity groups, all said this is a problem that is us. It's our industry that's on the line here. We want to be part of the solution, and so they've invested in this. So we have more than $5.5 million at work right now, and the state legislature and the governor's office have just allocated in this most recent budget an additional $2 million to put into place. And we are putting this to work around Ohio with already over 24 projects that are in place. We've engaged with the Ohio Department of Agriculture since last year at this time to train 6,600 farmers and commercial applicators to allow them to be certified in fertilizer application. So we're doubling down and really putting our money where our mouth is yet again. You've seen, if you've walked around the grounds at all, a focus on precision agriculture and big data. This is a huge issue in agriculture these days. Another area where we're investing heavily. What we call our discovery themes are big deal research issues that have societal implications are allowing us to invest in several key areas, and one of those is in the area of precision agriculture to try to help see improvements in not only the equipment, but how we use that equipment to manage operations throughout the agricultural community. And we're also spending an exceptional amount of energy looking at how we can be part of the solution to hunger and food insecurity. 1 in 7 Ohio jobs traces to agriculture, from preparing to put seeds in the ground all the way through to getting the food on your plates. 1 in 7, a huge agricultural economy. Yet 1 in 6 Ohioans was food insecure at some time last year. And in Ohio, the trend is going the wrong way. We're getting closer to the top of that list, not the bottom. And this is a place where you aspire to be at the bottom of that list. I've used this metaphor a couple of times. It actually came from a colleague with the Mid-American Food Banks, but if you think about just hungry children in Ohio, we're all Buckeyes here. We would fill the Ohio Stadium 6 times and still have a line with hungry children. That can't stand, folks. We have to deal with that. And we are really good at focusing on the production of food. We now need to put that effort also, not backing away from the other things we do, but also combining this to actually have an impact on reducing hunger and making the citizens of our state more food secure. This is another one of the president's priorities. So I feel very fortunate that as he's articulated this 2020 vision, everything he's talking about aligns perfectly with the mission of this college. And so to me, it reinforces not only that we're the founding college, but we remain a central part of what the Ohio State University seeks to accomplish. All right, well, as I said, I could go on, but let me turn our attention just a moment here. I hope you did take a chance to look at the screens throughout the meal. This was a focus on people who have been honored and awarded from our college over the past year. And there are a lot of slides. I've got the slide deck printed out here if you want to take a look. It's a bunch of slides. But the fact is, it's only a partial listing, and we're continuing. We want to in future years, really continue to use this event to celebrate some of that success. At your place setting, not only is there some words about an award we'll give in a moment, but if you look at the middle next to the star, you'll actually see a number of our alumni award winners, both at the college and university level from this year. That's just one subset of the folks who flashed along up there. In fact, we could probably spend a whole session here just talking about student successes. I've gotten a real kick over the past several months out of talking about coming from The Ohio State University, the undisputed national champions, and everybody goes crazy. They're excited about the undisputed national champions, and I say, I didn't realize that you'd heard about the Animal Sciences Academic Quadrathlon team or the ATI Dairy Judging team. And the list could go on because it's not just our student athletes on the field, and by the way, there were 5 national champions among our student athletes on the field this year, but it's also, through our college and across the university, a lot of very accomplished students. who are learning through these out-of-classroom experiences. Now, it would be terrific to parade all of those people we honored. Instead, we've asked one of our honorees to join us today and to say a few words. Dr. Susie Whittington is a Buckeye through and through. She's got 3 degrees from The Ohio State University, and although she strayed off to other parts, just as I did at one point in her career, she's well established back here on the campus. And Susie, if you weren't paying attention as we went along, won the Teaching Award of Excellence from the North American Colleges and Teachers of Agriculture and was honored earlier this summer. We've asked Susie to come up and just say a few words about her experiences and this particular honor. Susie?
Thank you, Dean McFerrin. I'm especially pleased that you chose to host this very important celebration of our college on this particular day. It just happens today to be important to me because today is National Teach Ag Day. So I don't know if you did that on purpose, but today is National Teach Ag Day. And so I'm thrilled to be able to thank all of you for teaching agriculture every day in everything that you do in your businesses, your lives, your formal and non-formal opportunities to share agriculture with those around you. So thank you all for what you do to teach ag. I'm a first-generation college student. So when I enrolled at The Ohio State University, it was because a teacher, my high school agricultural science teacher, in fact, drove me to the Columbus campus and told me, you need to teach agriculture and you need to go to The Ohio State University. So I did. I was able to work my way through school and received excellent scholarships from this college throughout that process. But when it came to my senior year and time to student teach, there are additional expenses that are associated with that, and I was going to come short on a little money because you can't have a job while you're out student teaching, and so some things have to come together in a little different way. So I laid out a budget and wrote a letter to my tiny little country Methodist church, to the administrative council, and asked if I could borrow the money to be able to complete my student teaching. And they very quickly told me yes, that they would be glad to help me with that. I was moved by their letter that came at the completion of my student teaching that said, "Dear Susie, there is no need to repay the money. This is our gift to you. Just be a great teacher." Their inspiration was blessed by people like Dr. L.H. Newcomb, who was the most superb methods of teaching agriculture teacher you could encounter, by role model professors in our colleges of agriculture classrooms who inspired us to be good teachers, and by superb associate deans like Dr. Linda Martin and those who came before her, who were themselves excellent classroom teachers and expect the same from us and applaud and reward that, and we are grateful. The beneficiaries of our quest for masterful teaching, as we all know, are our students. And so in closing, I want to share with you some words that were written about my class last spring anonymously from a student in that class. I want to use this journal entry as a reflection of this class and this semester. This has been the best class I have ever taken. Most college classes teach you how to do your future job, but they don't teach you about life. This class helped me evaluate, learn, and grow on the topic of cultural proficiency. After this class, I have become more aware of how others and myself are being treated and how we are treating others. I have become more aware of the progress that needs to be made on campus and in the city of Columbus to make it more culturally proficient. This class changed my perspective and actually helped it become more broadened. One thing I would change about this class is that every student in the university should be required to take it. College is about molding students into becoming the adults they want to be, helping them to form their beliefs and values, and teaching them important social skills. This class does all of that. Thank you for making cultural proficiency a priority and creating a class about it. And P.S., have an amazing summer. In summary, thank you, Dean McFerrin, for choosing to highlight and recognize the masterful teaching that has become synonymous with the name of our college across this great university and across this great state. OH.
Thank you, Susie, for that reflection, and I think you can see in the elements of what she spoke about what motivated her to her career path and the excellence that she demands from herself, that it was an easy choice for this National Award Committee to recognize her with the award they presented. I also have it on good authority that she's evaluating how she can do all those essay exams if every student in the university takes her class. We've got a couple of really cool things yet to do this afternoon. In 2009, 5 cooperatives started a program of raising funds from sales of soybean and corn seed to support the Growing the Cure Fund. These funds are earmarked for food-related cancer research, and they're a collaborative effort between our college and the Ohio State Comprehensive Cancer Center and the James Cancer Hospital. The 5 cooperatives involved are True Point Cooperative, United Landmark LLC, Heritage Cooperative, Jackson Jennings Co-op, and Town and Country Co-op. I'd like to ask representatives, along with Dr. Steve Clinton, who has been the mainstay in ensuring that we actually achieve real results with this investment. I'd like to ask those representatives to come forward today to help with presentation of a check for this year's contribution.
Briefly,
You can say something about what we've got
you come
here.
over here.
Yeah.
Here, we'll come over this way. Gotta get ready for photography.
On behalf of the 5 cooperatives for growing the cure, it gives me great pleasure to present this check in support of Growing the Cure and the partnership of the College of Agriculture and the James Cancer Research Center. Thank you.
And before the big check disappears, it may not be big enough for all of you in the back unless you weren't watching the screens. $139,521.35. Thank you, folks, for that generosity. Now I'd like to invite Farm Science Review Director Chuck Gamble to join me on the stage.
Isn't agriculture great? And I'd say it's a privilege to be involved, and I'd say it's also the people that make agriculture great, Eric. So thank you very much. We have many people to thank for the success of the Farm Science Review. Dr. Whittington acknowledged the students, and one of those groups include our students and our Dale T. Friday Scholarship winners. And I will suggest that the condition of this showgrounds is a result of these young people that we're about to recognize. Zach Charville, if you would go ahead and stand up as I say your name, is a junior majoring in Ag Systems Management from Milan. Ben Eggers is a junior majoring in Sustainable Plant Systems Management from Archbold. Lucas Hesterman, senior in Ag Systems Management, also from Archbold. Kevin Lynch, an Ag Systems Management major and is a junior from Marysville. Zach McConnell, a senior from Marysville. I think Zach's over here. And Zach is a dual major in Ag Business and Ag Systems Management. And Zach is a legacy, as his grandfather was also a student employee of the Farm Science Review, Dave Kaler. Melanie, you know, that was one individual. There, Melanie Seiler, she's back here in the back corner, is a junior from Fayette, majoring in international business, a student that is outside of the College of Food, Ag, and Environmental Sciences, and a very fine young lady to have on the staff. So Melanie, thank you. And all the students, thank you very much and congratulations. There is nothing like honoring and recognizing students, Susie. This year marks the 26th year of inducting honorees into the Farm Science Review Hall of Fame. Today, we recognize two individuals and place them into the Farm Science Review Hall of Fame. All honorees are permanently recognized here on the grounds and in the Agricultural Administration building just outside room 100 on the Columbus campus. Would all previous Hall of Fame recipients please stand? So if you've been, there we go. There's Jack Summers back there, Jack. Will John Hickson please come forward, and will his family and friends, and if you will admit that you're a friend of John Hickson, we would like you to please stand too. Now, I know John had more than one friend, Harold. John spent his career with OSU Extension, moving into an agriculture, community development, and natural resources agent position in Union County for 25 years. His collaborative approach led to many successful projects at the Farm Science Review, focusing on practices that were agronomically and economically sustainable. John, thank you for your service to agriculture and to the Farm Science Review. Will Harold Waters please come forward, and his family and friends present, please stand. Harold's first Farm Science Review experience was as a student employee when the event was held at Don Scott Airfield. In his current role as an OSU Extension Field Specialist, Harold is instrumental in working with farmers in our demonstration plot area. His presence is throughout the year as he uses the grounds for a variety of educational and community events. Harold, thank you for your commitment to agriculture and for your service to the Farm Science Review. Congrats.
Would everyone now please join me in directing our attention to the screens as we play a video that highlights the cooperatives involved in Growing a Cure campaign.
I am Monica Giusti, and I am an associate professor at the Department of Food Science and Technology, The Ohio State University. Anthocyanins are the pigments that are responsible for most of the reds and purple and blue colors in nature. So most of the beautiful colors that we see in fruits and vegetables are because of the presence of anthocyanins. They are polyphenolic compounds. These compounds belong to the class of phenolic compounds, and they have been found to be powerful antioxidants. In many ways, it's thought that their antioxidant capacity is why the plant produces them. And they act as antioxidants also in the human body. They can be antioxidants, and they can also work as anti-inflammatory agents. And oxidation and inflammation are really in the root of the development of many chronic diseases. So by preventing those early stages, they have been really associated with prevention of many chronic diseases.
I hope everyone enjoyed the video. I hope everyone enjoyed the video, today's luncheon, and the opportunity to hear from Dean McFerrin, Dr. Whittington, and to celebrate the success of our college and today's Farm Science Review Hall of Fame honorees. On behalf of Dean McFerrin, I'd like to thank you all once again for the many ways that you support our college, because it's through your support that we're able to increase the quality of our education, research, and outreach, which is the foundation of our land-grant mission. So before we conclude today's luncheon and head out to enjoy the last day of Farm Science Review, I would like everyone to join me in concluding this event the way all great Buckeyes conclude every event, and that's with Carmen, Ohio. So please stand and join me in the singing of Carmen, Ohio.